you see all right my desk. I hope so. 2 weeks since the last live and everything is a mess. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can see the chat. Okay, YouTube is giving me trouble. Let's see. No chat yet. So many things I want to go over today, tonight. Something looks crooked. Let's see if I can do better. Oops. I hope I'm not making you dizzy. What is... Let's see if I can take this. No, the light is fine. And I still can't see the chat. Oh my God. Every time. It's the same thing with the chat. Okay, we've got the chat. Let's see. Hi, Jojo B, Brenda, Juanita, Linda, Brenda again, and yeah, okay, and another Linda and Deborah. Hello, everyone. 2 weeks since the last live, lots of stuff going on. I don't even remember how I finished last live. If you've seen the end of the decoration or not, so I have them here. I've got so much stuff to show you. I've been working like crazy to keep myself occupied. And if you're following me on Facebook, then you probably already seen my notebooks, my bags, and whatever. And I'm going to go today because lots of people asked me about how I do the notebooks. So I'm going to go over everything and also do some on the live. So, and I have some special things that I use, but I will give you, as always, all the alternatives to use. Okay, so while people are coming in, I'll just bring... This was one of the decorations from last time. This is the finished thing. This is the other one. So that's that. I really don't remember what was 2 weeks ago. I was ready to go live last Thursday, but things happened, so I couldn't. And let's see. So, all kinds of stuff is going on. We entered the reach of some of the rockets. Oh, fun it was. So I spent some time in the safe room and hearing sirens and hearing booms from intercepting the rockets. Fun, fun, fun. And because it was so much fun, in between I had to keep myself occupied. So I've been working on these notebooks, and I've got more that I'm starting. I'm going to go over them. This one, the skulls. Believe it or not, all of these are just plain notebooks from the cheap store with hardcover, and that's it. Nothing special about them, and I just wanted to make them do something else. And this one, the skulls are made from, I will go over in more details when we'll do the things, but the skulls are made from hot glue in silicone molds that are supposed to be for ice cubes, of course, in the shape of skulls. And there is some tissue paper, scrunched tissue paper in the back, and gauze. That's it. Very simple. I will talk about all the things that you can put in terms of texture, in terms of decorating, and in terms of painting. So that's one. This is another one. This is made with Stamperia molds, silicone molds by Stamperia, and they are, well, they are not cheap, but sometimes I do a splurge or something on something that I really like. So this is made with that, but I usually take them apart and do something of my own. This is not from one mold. This is like two different molds, and this also. So and of course in the back there is some scrunch tissue paper and some joint compound or modeling paste. Again, I will go over all the variation that can be. Tissue paper in the back. All this is from a silicone mold that is supposed to be either for craft or for fondant or whatever you want to do with it, but it was, I bought it not for craft, so it was cheaper. The minute you take something out of the craft art section, it's the price drops. So this is another one. This is another Stamperia mold. This time I did use the whole mold and just took this detail from another mold. And some scrunch tissue and some joint compound in the back for more texture. Another Stamperia mold and a lot of modeling paste all around it. Another Stamperia mold. Okay, so that's the 5 notebooks I've worked this week, finished, and I'm working on other ones. Here is a start for a new one. Again, I will go over all the details. I'm also starting to work on larger ones in A4. So here I already have some scrunch tissue paper, so I can move along in explaining, and I won't have to wait for everything to dry. So that's that, and let's see who I missed. Hi Barbara. I think I hope I didn't miss anyone. Okay, so Facebook, I've posted the notebooks, and I've also posted all the stuff that I've ordered. I'm trying all kinds of supplies. First of all, I'm fascinated with the fact that I can take my art and put it on something practical. Just fascinated. So I ordered things from different suppliers. I've got this, the other ones I've already gifted in the holiday to my guests that came to for Rosh Hashanah, so they are gone. And now I've got others that I've ordered and came. I still have more that are supposed to come in the mail. So these are the 2 pouches that I've ordered. This is a painting, a very large one that I've sold long time ago, like 5 years ago, I still miss it. I have a problem when I sell things, especially my paintings. I really miss it. So, and this is another painting on a canvas that I still have it. So these are the two pouches with these two whatever. And I've ordered more of these tote bags, and this is one, all from a Arjo, maybe no, yeah, this is an art journal page that I've done. I even think there is a video. This is a painting. I still have it. It's mixed media stuff that I've done like 6 or 7 years ago. Here is another one with from an art journal page. This one also has a video how I've done it. This is one of my favorite ones, another one that has a video. I also have it on the apron that I've ordered myself. This is how it looks on in a large scale. So this was printed on an apron, and I really like it. And then I've ordered on a black canvas, and I'm so happy with it. This is just, now I need to find a supplier that will do the same thing on black t-shirt, because I love black t-shirt with printing and I want this for myself. So this just came beyond what I expected. Here is another one. These two also, I think, yeah, there is a video for both of them. They were this was done, but I think this was done on a canvas, and this was done in an art journal, and both have videos. So I'm really it turned out beyond my expectations, let's just say that. And next thing I ordered, these were on canvas, and these are on some kind of very strong fabric. I don't know what it is, some kind linen with something. And this is just a small piece of a big canvas that I've done and sold, and still until this day I'm I'm regretting selling it, and also planning on recreating something like that. This was all done with paper. All of these were small pieces of paper napkins. All this was done with crepe paper and some paint and more paper. This was all paper, all collage from all kinds of paper. So I thought this would be nice to print on a bag. So that's one I really love. And of course then I had to try my mandalas that I've done, and also printed on some of the tote bags. And I see that I have a problem again with the chat, and I will try to get it back again. So I really love what came out of it. Really better than I ever thought. And here is another one. Really good material. I really like it. I had only one supplier that sent me something faded and horribly reproduced, and I'm not even going to show you. This is, I don't know if to call it a painting, but it's on canvas. I've got 3 canvases in this size that I've done some kind of pouring. One is blue, one is red, and the other one I think is green. And I thought, let's see how it will go on a bag, and as you can see it turned out quite nice. Last but not least, here we are. I wanted to see how it would look on something like burlap, although I think this is a synthetic burlap. A really nice bag with, how do you say it, lining inside, and a pocket here. And they also sent me this little pouch with it, so very nice. And I either sell it or gift it. either way, I'm so excited about it. Okay, I'm gonna try and see if I can get the chat back. A lot of people asked me about the notebooks and the bags that I've posted on Facebook, and yes, they are available for a sale, and I'll ship everywhere. I'm not going to turn into a merchant. But if someone wants anything, then you can just contact me either uh, through Facebook Messenger. Just find me. It's Noit Berkovich in Facebook, or you can email me at noitmyart@gmail.com. And this is my website, but it's still in work. Not everything is up. So if you are interested in something, just contact me and we'll talk. And yes, I ship everywhere. So now that I've gotten rid of that, let's see that I get the chat back again, because it's driving me crazy. Okay, let's see. What's going on? It doesn't want even to go into the live, not even the chat. Okay, I need to call my IT support. Yuval? That's my younger son. And another thing, last live I told you I want to try and do a light fixture with the same decoration, and I wanted to do it on a paper bag with white stenciling. So that's what I've done. Here is where you put your light fixture and then you close it up. So it's really nice, but it kind of got the vibe of a gingerbread cookie. So well, it's fitting for Christmas. And let's see. איפה הצ'אט? זה הצ'אט? כי אני לא רואה את המסך של ה... Just a minute.
למה? מה?
אני לא צריכה לראות את הצ'אט של ה... את המסך
שלה?
שלי.
לא.
לא. אוקיי.
זה בכוונה שתראה עוד צ'אט.
Okay, so I see the chat. I'm just going to go over and see where I lost everyone. Hi, Lori. I'm just going back. Hi, Nancy. Green. I'm going over, trying to do to be fast about it. Hi, Betty. Carrie Ann. I'm trying not to miss anyone. Hi, Celine. Okay. Okay, I hope I've caught up with the chat. And so, yeah, gingerbread cookie. But it was nice making it, and it was just a paper bag. So that's that. And I couldn't find my light fixture. I've reorganized again all my space here, and I still can't find things. I had a whole bin with my white backing of paper napkins. It got lost. how a full bin of paper napkins can get lost in one room. I don't know how I've managed it. I'm a magician. That's what I am. I'm a magician. Okay, so we are going to start with the notebooks, and I have two videos I've done in the past, part one, part two, of how to use a silicone molds, all kinds of them. I will put a link below when I finish the live, so it will be there, and I will go over quickly of what I've covered then in those two videos, but quickly, and then we will continue. So we start with the molds, and it's heavy. Okay, so these are the expensive ones from Stamperia, and I've got all kinds. And these are a little bit expensive, but then you can find all kinds of other molds. Like this is supposed to be for to make ice cubes in the shape of a skull. So that's another thing, and I've shown in those videos also there are silicone trivets, silicone pot holders, all kinds of things made of silicone that can be used. I even think I can reach something. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Like this too. Even this can be used, and it's supposed to be for a hot pot. So, and usually with this kind of silicone molds, I will use hot glue, not any kind of paste. It just works better from my experience. And there are all kinds of other molds like this ones that are supposed to be also for craft, but I used to go in AliExpress and search molds for fondant or anything that is cooking, for a cooking, and it would be less than if I was doing a search for something that is supposed to be in craft. So here are or more molds that can be found. I've also now I'm only using Temu because that's what is available to me in terms of shipping and price, and we have a problem right now with shipping. A lot of companies canceled flights here because of the situation. I can understand it. So even deliveries are a little bit sketchy, but I don't know why anything that I order from Temu comes in a reasonable time. So that's what I'm using, not because I'm trying to push on you any kind of platform. Buy wherever you want. These things I bought at cheap stores. Again, in the baking, cake, whatever, kitchen aisle for that matter. So, and also this, because this is for ice. So all kinds of cheap stuff can be found. That's in terms of molds. And I'll just pick one, so maybe I'll do some demonstration on it. Let's take this one, whatever, doesn't matter. So, moving everything. That was the molds. In terms of a material, in this, as I said, I usually use a hot glue gun. In this one, you need to use paste. Now, there is a paste from Stamperia that is dedicated for this. I didn't buy it. It was too expensive. I just used modeling paste that I found in the cheap store, and I've also used joint compound. They both worked for me great. You need to experiment and see what works for you, because I had another modeling paste that didn't quite work for me. It depends of the quality of the paste. I know of people who are also using all kinds of air dry clay on this molds and on this molds, and it works great for them. I don't use it, and there are all kinds of recipes all over YouTube for air dry clay, or you can buy air dry clay, all kinds of in cheap stores and in craft stores, so another option. And a lot of time I just use a joint compound, and sometimes joint compound doesn't have enough elasticity in it, so when you come to take the mold out, it will break like you used plaster, not joint compound. You can take a small amount of joint compound, put it in another container, and add some white glue. It will give it more elasticity. Just one more way to go about it. So this one I'm using a modeling paste, just so I will show you how I go about it. Again, I'm trying to be quick because there is a lot of things going that I want to show you. And I'm just taking this palette knife. You can take even, where do I have it? Like a spatula also can be used. And the only thing that I do try to do is push it inside. Work it inside, because there is always some kind of air bubbles. So first of all, trying to push it inside several times. I will go over every area several times. Not only that, I will go in all directions. This will ensure that the paste is going everywhere, and I'm still keeping the pressure to get it in. I'm not going to do maybe I'll do the whole mold. If I'm already at it, I'll do the whole mold. So as you can see, just working it inside. Take your time. And I'm very generous with the amount of paste, no matter which one I'm using. And that reminds me, don't use hot glue on this. This cannot withstand the heat. The hot glue is only for this kind of silicone. So pushing it and changing direction. And as I go, I can see places that don't have a paste. So I'm going back again and again until it seems everything is filled with the paste. Now, another thing, I'm very generous with the amount of paste, because a lot of times when whichever paste you will use, there is some little, let's say, shrinkage. And I find that it works for me better when, after I'm making sure that it got into all the details, that I have a nice coat. As you can see, I'm spreading a nice coat on top, almost until I don't see the details. So I've got a nice layer of the paste, and I don't mind if it's getting a little bit out of the edges. It doesn't matter, and I will show you why. First, I'll just finish with this. Okay, now I've got a really nice coat here. Another thing that you can do, you can flip it over and check. You will usually see if you've got something missing and not filled with the paste. Where did I put my jar with water? I don't know. Never mind. Okay, now when I'm finished putting all the paste, I'm taking usually deli paper. Now, deli paper, it's different in each country. What is deli paper in the United States? Here it will be something that I can't use because it's waxed on both sides. What is similar here is sandwich paper. So that's what I'm using. And this is sandwich paper. I usually use it for when I'm for gel printing, but I also use it for this. It has a matte size and a glossy side. I use the glossy side like this. I'm putting it and I'm smoothing it a little bit with a very little bit of pressure, because if I still have something that didn't quite reach all the details of the mold, I'm just helping it set in, and then I will leave it be at least 12 hours. I prefer even 24. All this thing takes time unless you are using the hot glue with the silicone mold. That's faster. This you have to let it sit. It will after 12 hours and even more, you will see that it even curves. It will take a look like this. It's okay, everything is fine, let it be. Wait the 12 or 24 hours, and only then you take the paper and you peel it, and it comes very nicely. Okay, I'll take it aside and let's check the chat. Your kitten is going on your keyboard. Yeah, craft supplies are ridiculously expensive, but a lot of times you can find in the kitchen aisle things that are similar. And so, and if you are going to a craft for kids, also you will find things similar and cheaper. Okay, I just managed to make a lot of mess here. Okay, as usual, you know me. And I just replaced the the touch paper or contact paper. I don't remember what's it called. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Robin. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's always a snail mail. Oops, almost lost the chat. Okay. So that was that. Next. Next is when I peel everything. Even with this, after I'm putting, you know what? I'll just hit my glue gun just so you can see. how easy it is. Yeah. Okay. So even this, when I use a glue gun, I will put a little piece of paper on top. It helps flatten the surface, it helps everything go inside, and it helps peel. And it also, the other thing is that and that's why I put the glossy side, as I showed you, towards the paste, and the other side towards me, because when I come to glue it to any surface like the notebooks, then I have a good surface that will cling, that the whatever glue I'm using, it will stick. And it's better than directly to the paste or directly to the hot glue gun. So that's one of the reasons to use the paper on top. And after I'm peeling it, then I'm deciding how I go about it. I don't know if you can see, but you see these edges. This is the extra paste that I've put on the silicone mold. Okay, and I like it. First of all, I know how to blend it into the background if I want to, and sometimes I don't want to blend it into the background, like how I've done. Let's see. I think I don't know if you will be able to see it, but because I wanted this kind of vintage distressed look, I didn't care where I had the extra paste. I don't know if you can see it, but it's here, and it just added to the whole texture of this notebook. So you can leave it and get more texture, or you can hide it, and I will talk about how you hide it. And of course, this molds from the paste, if it's the modeling paste or if it's a joint compound, you can cut them. That's what I do. You can even tear them. Here I tore one mold and combined it with these two pieces that I tore again from another mold. So I got this distressed look when nothing is complete. This I tore it, and only the butterfly I used scissors because I only wanted the butterfly. So I went around and I just cut it without any edges. I fussy cut the butterfly out of the mold. So that's a really good thing, that you can play with this kind of molds. You can cut them. And let's see. Okay, I just want to bring another mold so I can show you. This is another mold. On these two I use the hot glue, even on little details, and just don't buy molds for soap because they are very thick, and the amount, it doesn't matter if it's paste or hot glue, the amount that will need to go in there is just not worth it in any aspect of creating something. So it's not for soap. Here it has more depth to the elements, but it works okay with hot glue. Let's see. And here I'll just take a part of this, and let's do one. Let's do something that has little details, like here. I will go inside with the glue, and while it's hot, it almost flows into all the crevices. So I don't need to do a lot, but I do need to make sure, because it has a lot of depth here that it reaches the end, and I don't have enough here. I need to put another glue gun. Okay, so I'm making sure it reaches the edges, and again I'm getting inside this little detail. Finished very gently. I'm putting this and very gently again tapping on it, so I'm making sure it's inside and flat. And it's hot, so be careful. Even with the paper, just be careful. I'm doing it very lightly. So that's that. And let's do another one for the skulls. And you can do the whole thing. You can do a line, whatever. At first, if you are not used to it, just go one by one and take your time. It takes a lot of glue here. Okay. And once again, tapping, making sure I haven't put enough, but that's okay. It's just for the demonstration. And I'm letting it sit. It's very hot. It needs time to cool down. It will take about a minute, maybe two, just to be careful. Another thing to the side. We covered, I think, the materials that can be used inside the molds. And here we go. Okay. Now, in terms of texture on top of the notebooks or whatever project you want, you don't have to do it on notebooks. You can take a canvas, you can do an art journal page, whatever you feel like. Lot of kind of textures. I really like whatever I'm doing. First, I like to have tissue paper, scrunch tissue paper on. Just taking tissue paper, doing this. It's very satisfying. And it doesn't even have to be white. But if you are not sure about what colors you want on top, it's better to go with white. It's neutral. Only when I know what I want to reach at the end, I will choose, because I've got lots of tissue paper packs with all kinds of colors. So if I can get rid of them, I'm using them for this kind of thing, because it will all get covered with paint. And if I know that I want to do something very dark, like the skulls, the notebook with the skulls, then I will go with a black tissue paper or even brown tissue paper. But otherwise, white and any kind of tissue paper, the ones that comes, if you have it from shoe boxes, with clothes, with whatever you want, just tissue paper. Another way is the backing of paper napkins, but it's very subtle. You need, if you really want a lot of texture, then you will need more than one, and it tears easily. This is more pliable, more easy to use and scrunch and put it on the cover. But I've also done with, I think, this one, just so you can see. Yeah, I'm almost completely sure that I've done this just with paper napkin, the white backing of paper napkin. And the amount of texture depends on you. It's just white glue and how scrunched you put it on your cover. So that's one thing. And you can even do more texture with paper towels. And if you have two layers for the paper towels, just work with one layer each time. And again, if you're not used to it, if you're not sure, you can even take little pieces. If it's the tissue paper, if it's the paper napkin, or if it's the paper towels, you can work a small pieces each time, and layer and layer and layer, how much layering you want, how much texture you want. Another way to achieve great texture is with masking tape. I showed you when I've done all the potion bottles, or with the aluminum tape, the metal tape that you can find in hardware stores, or I find it in the hardware aisle in my cheap store. And even I've already lost baby wipes. Baby wipes can also be used to create a texture. And once again, it's just glue, and you cover your all cover of the notebook or whatever project you are working on. So, and if you don't want something like that, you can also create a texture just by using modeling paste and or joint compound, any kind of paste. Let's see, I want to show you. I think even here I've added some paste in between, just with a palette knife, and not this one, just something like this, just so I will have this distressed look. So again, you can achieve texture quite easily just with paste. And as I said at the beginning, this with the skulls, I don't know if you can see it, but there is gauze on top. So another thing to have texture here. So lots of stuff. Okay, so as I said, let's see. So this is just plain notebook, okay? And I always do both sides. Why? Because if I'm selling it here, then we start from right to left. If I'm selling it outside, then you start from left to right. So I always do it both ways. So, and also I think it's more nice that everything is decorated and not just one side. The sticker is just, I'll cover it, never mind. Okay, so most of the time, not always, the notebooks come with this glossy finish. That's not good to work on unless you have, there are what it's called composition books. I believe they don't have this kind of glossy finish. Then you don't need to do what I'm going to show you now, and I'm going to work on it with sanding paper. The sound is horrible, so I'm not going to do all of it. I'm just going to demonstrate a little bit, and mute me if you are allergic to the sound. So just find a sanding paper, and if you've got, also this is from the hardware aisle in the cheap store, this is even better. You have something to hold on. Even when it's gone and the sanding is not great, you can take another sanding paper and just wrap it. Another thing is that if you have a leftover of 2x4, you can take your sanding paper and put it around the 2x4 or whatever object is more comfortable for you. So when I'm starting with glossy finished hardcover, I'm going over everything, all the size, all this, and even on the inside all this, I'm going with the sanding paper, okay? Everything. I'm going here and I will go here. Everything will go under the sanding paper. That's how you make sure that everything sticks. You are creating a surface that has more tooth, and everything is, you are making sure that everything will attach to it. So this is, and after you're finished sanding, you can take a baby wipe to get rid of all this little dust that is created, and then you can work on it. So this is, I'm putting it aside. After I'm finished sanding, then I am taking, for this example, the tissue paper, and I'm just going to glue it with white glue to the cover. Now, I'm always keeping a little bit extra, so when I'm finished gluing it here, I can go like this, and then I'm gluing it to the inside. It creates more a nice finish, like, and not only I'm going inside, when I'm finished with the whole design, with the whole thing, then I will find some interesting, if it's a painty paper, collage paper, 12 by 12, whatever, that will work for me, and I will glue it here so it will have a nice finish, like so. Or in another example, this one here, again, nice finish, and then something on the inside. So that's one of the reasons that I'm sanding also on the inside, so I can do the same work on the inside, and then I'm just gluing the tissue paper or anything else, if it's the paper napkin or paper towel, same thing, it works the same. And that's it, that's just the beginning, and it instantly create this kind of texture that I love. And if I feel, even if I finished and I feel like this area is not interesting enough and I don't have enough detail, I can just tear a piece of more tissue paper, scrunch it, and glue it here. Now, all these things take time. It takes time until this dries, it takes time until the mold dries, everything takes time. Let's see, yeah. Here we go. One skull. One leaf. And again, now I have a great surface to work with, and even with the hot glue gun, I'm still taking my nail scissors and I'm going around my shape and getting rid of the excess. It's very easy. It's not easy in terms of that it's fussy cutting and you need patience for it, but it's easy in terms of the material and how you are going to work it into your project. Here we go. Very nice. And so the same thing with the skull. So I won't forget. If you know what you want to do from the beginning in terms of paint, in terms of the color, and you know that the elements that are going on top are going to be almost completely different from what you have in the background, then you treat them outside of this. Paint them, do whatever you want to them, and only at the end glue them to your notebook. So you don't have to do all kinds of correct painting because this and that touched anything else. So you can paint your background and do whatever you want to it, and then you can glue the elements. Okay, so I am going to bring something to drink because I'm parched, and then I will check the chat. Okay. Let's see what I've missed. What are the name of these molds? These are from, all these little ones are from Stamperia. And these ones, you just, if it's AliExpress, if it's Amazon, or if it's Temu, you just put silicone molds, you will find something. If it's for that, if it's for ice cubes or whatever, just silicone molds, and you will get so many results that it's like down the rabbit hole. So just so you will know. Okay, and let's see what I've missed. Let's see. Haven't been to Slovenia yet. Okay. No, the design on the cover will not break off. I'm going to talk about how you attach the design to your cover, and no, it's not breaking unless you really try. Of course you can try and put it in a car crusher, it will break, but otherwise it will hold. It is easy as long as you have patience and you take your time with each element. If you're, it's not an art journal page that you can be done with almost instantly. And also it takes practice. All the little bits that I'm telling you about, it's just from my experience and things that didn't quite work, and all kinds of tries that I did. So yeah. So I've got this notebook, and of course I have this stencil here. This is another way to get any kind of decoration that you want. With any stencil you can work with a paste or just with paint. It does, you can decorate whatever you want. It doesn't have to have any kinds of this kind of thing. You can decorate just by stenciling or putting other elements on your notebook. And I'm going to do this with paste, and I think I'm going to use the joint compound just so you will see. And of course this needs, again, you need to wait for it to dry. Another thing that I found that works nicely, I think I have it here somewhere. Let's see. Also, craft section, I'm lucky that I found it in the cheap store. I think you call it decals, all kinds of fake, this fake molds. I think it's called decals. Correct me if I'm wrong. And these are just stickers. But imagine me making this stencil and just using, I can use the corners and I will have already something nice to decorate this notebook. So this is another way if you have all kinds of decals. I know there are like fake tiles in cheap stores. I believe I seen it in all. Again, I haven't been to the United States, but I see it in all kinds of YouTube videos that cover like Dollar Tree finds and all kinds of stuff like that. I think I've seen like fake tiles with adhesive in the back. So that's another thing that you can use and cut and do your own design. And another thing is wallpaper samples. Another thing that I've seen that I think, correct me again if I'm wrong, I think you also can get them in like Michael's and Dollar Tree or something like that. So that's that. Another thing that can be used. And UK, I haven't been to the UK in, I think the last time was 6 or 7 years. And you've got, what's it called? Hobby Lobby or Hobby Craft or something like that. I was in one of them. And you also have Poundland. Just taking a drink. So I think even in Poundland you can find all this stuff. I remember I bought a lot of stuff from Poundland. Even at that time, 6-7 years ago, I didn't have stencils and I found like placemat, a plastic placement that had the design of what's it called? Shamrock, I think. And I used it as a stencil. So there are all kinds of stuff out there, even buttons. There is also a video I've done a long time ago that I've done a whole page with a burlap, with all kinds of flat back bling and all kinds of stuff, and it was great. So buttons, whatever you have with flat back, also work on decorating and creating texture. And I'm going to check something because I believe I even saw it lately when I organized everything here. So maybe I can find it for you. Let's see. Nope, but I found something else just as good to show you how plain things from everyday's life can create something. Here we go. Empty a frame without the glass, and these are all found objects from all around and all kinds of materials, some plastic, some metal, some are beads from all kinds of stuff. These are wheels from little like matchbox cars, and really all kinds of stuff that were, I don't know even from where I got them, because a lot of time people bring me stuff because they know I will do all kinds of things with their if it's a cheap jewelry or leftover pieces from games. So this all came about just from little pieces that I glued here. I hope you can see the details. Don't know how much of the light. Maybe if I put the light here. Yeah. So just little pieces. This is a wheel from a little toy, and this is a wheel from a little toy. So you see, bits and pieces can create something. Okay, so that's that. And I still want to show you, but where did I put it? Probably vanished with the bin that I've magically disappeared. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. It's magic. Just disappeared. Okay, and before I forget, attaching whatever it is, if it's the hot glue gun or if it's the Stamperia molds, the best way that I know to attach them is with gel medium. Now, sadly, this is just craft or art stores and it doesn't come cheap. But this is the best. Why? Because a lot of time the backside, even with the paper, it's not completely flat, and also you are going to adhere it to a surface that is not completely flat, and this have volume to it, and it's very strong once it's dry. It's almost like a plastic when it's dry, and it works on everything. If you don't have this, there is silicone glue that works great also, just don't have the same volume as this. And sometimes when I'm doing, especially no, not especially, but sometimes I feel when I'm adhering the pieces that I have like a little gap between. Now, if I don't have gel medium, because not always I have it on hand, I will use the silicone glue, which is great, and it will hold and everything. And then the gap I will fill with some kind of paste. If it's modeling paste or if it's joint compound or if it's wood filler, doesn't matter. Even thick gesso will work if you feel that you have some kind of gap between the mold you're attaching to your surface. So you can use silicone glue. Silicone glue, the only brand, international brand, oh my god, that I know is Yoo-Hoo. So, and people tell me that Eileen Tacky glue, the clear one, is also silicone glue, and Fabri-Tac. I don't know, we don't have it. No, we don't have Fabri-Tac here. We don't have Eileen glue, Tacky glue. So I don't know, but this is also a silicone glue. I've got mine from the cheap store, of course. So that's the way to go about attaching. And if you just doing all kinds of decals or whatever wallpaper that has texture, then whatever, you can use whatever glue you have. You can use just white glue. It will just take longer to dry, to settle down. The silicone glue and the gel medium are, I think they are quicker and they are harder, so stronger. Okay, so I think this one, I'm going to do this, and as I said, I will bring the joint compound, which I need to lift from under my table. Oh my god, big bucket from the hardware store. Now, joint compound, not everyone were created equal. Not joint compound, not white glue, not modeling paste, they never have the same consistency. If you feel something is a little bit runny and not quite have volume to it, have heft to it, you can always mix. I prefer to put baby powder or talcum, so it can be more thick. And if it's too thick and you feel that you can't work with it, add white glue, not water. Add white glue, it will just help with the elasticity, and just add each time a little bit because you can't take it out. So, and you can just take a small amount into a small container, small bowl, do the mixing until you are satisfied. That's how you don't ruin the other stuff. Okay, so let's see. Joint compound. Here we go. I hope I covered everything and I didn't forget. Okay, so it's a little bit, meh, don't like it. It has like water in it, but that's okay. I can always scrape it, and as I said, I can also add baby powder, or I can continue like this until I'm satisfied. If you want it to be more thick on your notebook, on your surface, whatever you are using, then you need to let it sit a little bit and do like another layer. I don't recommend it, only if you're very you feel that you really need it to be more thick, then do it. And you can also do like I've done with the paste, with the silicone molds. I can do a thicker layer here that you will almost won't see the details, and I will show you what will happen by doing a very thick layer here. I'm going to do it now all over, putting thicker layer of the paste, whatever paste you are using. This is in my way. Okay, almost done. So very generous amount of paste, whatever you are using, okay? Good enough. Okay, I really need my, it's probably downstairs, forgot about it, the jar with water. Okay, so now I'm lifting it. So, few things. First of all, you can see some spillage underneath. You can take another palette knife or whatever, or a knife, whatever is easier for you, and you can work around and take whatever you don't need. Okay, like if I went here and I don't need it, I can fix it like so, wherever I think it's needed. Another thing, when you are lifting your stencil and it's very thick, you get like these ridges that are pointing upwards. Don't touch it, let it set, and then take a sanding paper and go smoothly on top of it. You can even use a nail file, the ones, this kind, the cheap ones from some kind of cardboard, and you can smooth all the details, okay? And then you have a, a very nice print here on the notebook. Now, this is enough, but I've got a lot of paste here. So what I'm going to do is reach for some kind of paper. Let's see what I have on hand. Ever some cardboard. We have to do. Let's move this and this before I'm doing some damage. I'm known for it. Okay, just some cardboard. You can even take a painty paper for that matter. And I'm just using the leftover paste. Nothing goes to waste. A lot of times I will do this on a gray board or cheap board that I have, and then I have something already made that I can stick to another project. So as you can see, I've still got lots of paste here. I'm trying to make it even. Yeah. Okay. Good enough. I'm gonna leave it be. Here we go. So I can use it in another project, and I still got lots and lots of paste. And once you're finished, take your stencil and wash it immediately. So let's see. Okay. I can take this aside. Already managed to put paste on my hand. Haven't I told you I'm talented this way? I'll check the chat while I'm trying to take the paste. Wasting paste on myself. Okay, chat. Hey, Scotland. Isn't it marvelous that each one can be on another continent and we are all here? Gel medium, not matte medium. Matte medium is like more like glue than this is more like paste, the gel medium. And again, there are different kinds. The thicker is the better. Buttons, yes. Buttons can create lots of stuff because most of them are circle, and you can do many patterns like flowers with them, cover everything with gesso, and then paint with whatever you want and do highlights. And I'm going to talk about painting and highlights and all all the things that going on top of the texture. So let's move this. Once again, my floor space is getting smaller and smaller. Okay, and let's see. I'll bring this back. Oh, I've got, let's see. Forgot about it. Here are the molds from the Stamperia mold. As you can see, this is with modeling paste. It has elasticity. That's why I told you it can be either cut or torn if you don't want to use it as a whole. And here is another one, also from the Stamperia molds. This one is old, so it has gotten a little bit yellowish, but it doesn't matter because I'm painting all over it, so it doesn't matter. And more pieces that I've done and want to do on this notebook, and these are going on this notebook, so I've got my work cut out for me to keep me busy. Okay, and here we go. So I've got the tissue paper in the back, I've got the Stamperia mold, and I just need to figure if I want it like this. Never mind. And another thing, when you're working on this, especially the notebook, if it's just gluing the tissue paper on top or the other things, because it takes time, make sure that you're working on something stiff. This is just an old cutting board from some kind of plastic, very cheap one, don't care. And once it's old, I'm taking it and using it for craft. It doesn't have to be this, it can be a plastic tray, something stiff. So once you finish, if it's the tissue paper or the paint, you can take it and put it aside. Not something soft that you can't lift it. It just, from past experience, something will go wrong. Like I have silicone mats that I usually work when I do all kinds of stuff of paint with, and they are great, but because they are silicone, here we go. These are the silicone mats that I like to work on. Again, kitchen aisle. This is supposed to be for making dough. I'm using the other side to do my project. And when you want to lift something, it's not good. So stiff material, some stiff substrate to work on top. And these clean out very easily. The silicone mats, it's great substrate to use for painting on top. And it also, you can also use it if you don't have a gel plate. This can be some kind of a way to do prints on it, monoprinting on it. Okay, I've got all kinds of stuff here. Okay, so usually what I do when I'm coming to paint is I open my notebook like this on this kind of surface. Now, there are all kinds of ways to paint. I usually use acrylic paint, and yeah, of course you can use sprays, but I feel that they are not I don't know, strong enough, thick, opaque enough to work on something like that. And most of the time I will go first with a gesso, and only after I'm the gesso I will paint. But sometimes I don't know, I think it's more how I feel about the colors and what is going to be on top that determines if I'm using gesso or not. Wow, I'm talking non-stop. Okay. Yes, there is a tissue paper. I don't. You, there is tissue paper here underneath. First, I've done the tissue paper. It's just easier for me. It's like another step that you need to wait to dry, but it's better to start with an even surface. Even surface in terms that everything is the same, not even in terms of not having any texture. So although it's getting covered with the mold, it's better that you have everything covered than worry about it later on. And it doesn't matter if it's the tissue paper or a backing of paper napkin, or even if you've done just a texture with some kind of paste, it's better to go all around and then adhere whatever you want. And it doesn't matter what, even buttons or any kind of thing, like I've showed you the bits and pieces of toys and stuff that, or of cheap jewelry that I've done. So that's another thing. And so, and another thing, I think I talked about it, but never mind. If I don't want to see the texture between this and this, between the mold and the tissue paper, then I will go in with some kind of paste and go over it. Or I will again take a piece of tissue paper and go on top of this until I'm covering the extra that I have around the mold. Okay? And this time I'm not going to cover with gesso. I don't feel that I need it. And again, even if I feel it's not covered enough, then I can always add more paint. Not always I will go for gesso. Here I don't really want to go with gesso in. I have small details and I'm afraid I've got a very thick gesso. Of course I can dilute it with water, but then again I don't want to deal with it right now. So I'm just going to start coloring, painting. Now, I like in each project to use at least 3 colors, even if it's in the same scale. I don't know if you can see it, but here towards the outside there is dark green. Here there is a green oxide, it was called, I think. And towards the inside I added a little bit of light blue, the same that I've used to get over all the texture, the highlights, what I called it, the highlights, and added it to the green, so it's a little bit in the middle, it's a little bit lighter. It just helps to it makes everything more interesting. Like when I'm doing art journaling and I'm stenciling, and I'm always keep repeating that don't use one solid color for everything. The same here. Just work with more shades of color, and it doesn't even have to be from the same group. It doesn't have to be dark green, middle green, and a light green. It can be like I've showed you here. Here I had some sand color, some color that was called linen. I think. And let's see, I think I have it here. This was called mushroom, and I had craft paper. These are from the same family, so yes, I've got like a, but then I wanted something a little bit more, and I added the turquoise. Again, it doesn't have to be everything has to be from just this. You can add whatever you want. And then I went with white on top for the accent of all the texture of all this highlight. And again, just be creative, use your imagination. There is no one formula. Here I just used a silver with black. That's it, because I really wanted to give it this metal look. So there is no shading here. There's only the silver and the black. That's it. So as I said, no one recipe to making things. Use whatever you feel like. Go into Pinterest. I don't know. There are so many things out there, and it doesn't even have to be a notebook cover. It can be many other stuff, and just see what you like. There is even in Pinterest what's it called, color sets that you can look at, and it will give you color sets, and you just have to find the ones that you like and use that. And the other things that I do is I do darker towards the bottom, lighter towards the top. That's it. Because that's how we also see things. So that's how it works. And I'm feeling like turquoise, my favorite color. So I'm going to work with this, and maybe I've got this, I don't know, water green, and maybe I've got, let's see, I've got bead blue, and I've got light mint. I don't know. I'm putting this here, and that's what I'm going to use. We'll see what we get out of it. And okay, now you need some kind of soft brush to go into all the details, or a very hard brush. I've got very cheap brushes, but they are the best for some some projects. These are the cheapest ever. I have them for years, and also they are good in getting inside texture and also creating texture. A lot of time I will put just, again, the modeling paste or the joint compound, and just tap on it, and it will create a texture. So another way to go about it. Okay, let's take this, so I will have some kind of palette, and let's put some masking tape. I hope I'm in frame and you can see what I'm doing, because my IT support managed to bring me to see the chat, but only the chat. I don't have the screen to see if I'm in frame or not. I only see the chat, as opposed to other times that I had the screen and the chat and I could see where I am. But it is what it is. We'll work with what we have. Okay. And let's see what is going on in the chat. What did I miss? Hebrew text. I can send you if you want to. I think even Temu is sometimes I see they have things in Hebrew, but I never checked about stencils. But you can contact me, as I said before, the start of the live. You can contact me either by mail, it's noitmyart@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Noit Berkovich, and you can use Messenger to contact me. Just don't use Instagram because I don't like that platform. I only have it because people wanted me to have it, so I'm posting there also, but somehow I just don't get along with that platform and people that sending me a message through Instagram. Sometimes I find a message like a month after someone sent me something. I don't know why, but just doesn't work for me, Instagram. Okay, it's good that I'm funny. We don't want to start crying. I'm using the darker color towards the outside. I think if you watched me do art journaling, it also with art journal pages, I like the outside to be darker, and I'm very generous with the paint. Don't be afraid. You can always, if you don't like something, it will dry, you can do another layer. Okay, so everything is fixable. Okay, and if you're worried that your pages will get paint, just put something like page protectors, any kind of plastic, whatever, that will be in between your cover and your pages. And now I started with it. Now I'm just taking from the next color, and as you can see, I hope I'm in frame. I'm also dipping to the darker color, so I've got an in between, and I'm so not caring how it goes. As long as your paint is wet, you can blend it together and create in between. And if I've gone into here with too much of the lighter color, I can always dip into the darker color and go again. So it's really easy. Don't stress over it. I'm doing this to get into all the details. So sometimes it's better to have this cheap stiff brush bristles than the softer one, because you can just do this and get into everything. Lots of times I will go again and again over an area until I'm satisfied with what I've got. And again, it doesn't have to be from the same family. The purple notebook that I've showed you, I've used purple, magenta, and for the highlights I've used some kind of peach color, very light peach color. Here it is, dark purple on the outside magenta towards the inside and the highlights with the peach. Okay, so it doesn't even have to be from the same group. You see, I'm just working it inside. And also, even when you think everything is covered, it's not. With this kind of detail, you need to uh, just move it around, because each time you will find a place that the texture didn't get into, just so you will know. Even when I've done this, which only have the skulls, I had to go around to find all the little areas that the paint didn't go into. So that's that. Moving to a lighter color and still mixing it with the darker one or the in-between one. Sometimes I'm not even bothering with all the white. It depends on the color palette sometimes, and also if I want a distressed look, then if I have a little bit of white peeking through, it just helps the look. So again, don't stress on it. And you can also, if you feel that you still can't go into all the details, you can add a little bit of water to your paint, and it will get inside all the nooks and crannies. And if not, just take the paintbrush and do like this by hook or by crook. It will get inside all your if someone made you angry, just put it in there. Okay, and here we go. Just turned it around and found more white. And if I feel that some area needs a darker color, then I will go back and add darker color. I need more paint. Now in terms of going on top of it with the making what I call the highlights, I can use again from the same family. I can take this very light blue, it's called bead blue, or I can decide on another color. I think that I'm going with cream for this. Don't know why, just because I think it will give more light to this notebook. That's the best explanation that I can give right now. And again, just going with the darker color. Here on the outside, I'm going to go over also about the inside and how you do the spine. Try to go in all directions so it will get everywhere. And it takes time. Just know that it takes time. I will not flip it over and do the inside until I'm completely sure that it's dry. I'm doing the same thing, dipping into the next color and just mixing them as I go. I'm telling you, by hook or by crook. Which reminds me of a very old TV series that probably only the UK know about it, The Prisoner. In the beginning it was always by hook or by crook you will. I'm not a number. You probably know what I'm talking about. UK, anyone know what I'm talking about? The Prisoner, a very old TV series. Okay, next. Yeah, IT support. I'm always calling him IT support. I can't find those very shallow mandala molds online. Yes, it's Stamperia, but again, Stamperia changes their stuff, I don't know, maybe every year. So it's not, you can't always find the same uh, the same molds. Again, if they decided to change their line or whatever. I buy mine in Bulgaria and I can't find them here. We have Stamperia here in craft store, art stores, but very limited products and also very expensive. And there is a shop in Bulgaria that just have this and it's accessible to me. I go there a lot, so that's where I buy my bot. I don't buy anymore. I've got more than enough. I don't want any more. It's just too much. The only molds that I bought lately is the skulls, and that, as I said, it's just an ice tray. I'm just checking to see if I missed something. Something stuck here that I don't like. What is this? I don't know. Never mind, I'm removing it and coloring. It seemed out of place. Don't know what was it. Okay. Now, in daylight, I will probably find more nooks and crannies that need some more paint. Right now, with two glaring light fixtures, I've got some glare coming at me, so it's a little bit difficult to see. Okay, let's see. Okay, now highlights. Two ways to go about it: brush or sponge. And if you're going for a sponge, it's better to use something flat. Flat as in something flat like this, not the side, or flat like this kind of sponges. These are mostly sold for children, in the craft for children, so they are not even expensive. And if you have, like I buy my where did I put it, makeup sponges. I don't buy the triangular ones, I don't like them. I like the this kind of shape. It's more, I feel that it's more condensed. I've shown you in lots of times before that I'm using it, and when the paint is dry, I'm cutting it and using it again and again. Here I have more, you see, so until it's too little for me to hold, I can use it again and again. And it's this shape is more condensed than the triangle ones, so it's easier to hold and to stencil with. So for the highlights, you can also use something like that because it's flat. So that's another way to go about it. And I'll just take this one. So that's the sponges. If you don't want to use sponges, another way to go about it is with hard bristle brush, something like this, and it's called dry brushing. And I will explain. I'll just grab some, I think, as I said, I'm gonna use cream color. This is almost dry, so I can probably show you how it looks. Okay, so first I'm going to show you with a brush. Boom. Yeah, too much stuff is going on here. You take paint and you do something like this until you have a very small amount of paint. You even take some piece of paper, if I had something. Let's see, a piece of paper, and get rid of excess paint. So, and then you go very easily, very lightly, and you add the highlights. You can hardly see it. I will do something a little bit more. It's a little still wet. Just add a little bit each time. Again, you can't remove it, so be gentle. So that's dry brushing. If you can see, I've got some blue here because the paint is not completely dry. I wanted to show you how the highlights work, so I haven't waited for everything to dry. And the sponge, how it works is that you take paint, you dab it until you feel that you have a small amount, and then you tap it. Sometimes I even do something like this. Pattern of my texture, how I go about it. And sometimes I like more texture, more highlights, and I will be very loose like this with my sponge. If I want it to be more prominent and to pick all the texture like this, or if I want it subtle, then you've seen me do it with the brush. And right now I still got turquoise wet paint here, so it's a little bit difficult, but you can probably see how the pattern emerges from the background just by me tapping the sponge. And just see how different it looks when you do the highlights. It's like magic, how all the details come to life. Acrylic booger, as usual. Out! Get out! Okay. I like that it's more bold like this. So I'm very generous with the amount of highlights that I'm doing. You can do subtle. It doesn't have to look like this. And you can always start with light with the dry brush, and then if you feel it needs more, then you can add. Again, no one recipe, one solution, one way to go about it. It's how you want it to look. And even if I make something that I don't like, if I put too much here, I can let it sit, dry, and just go back afterwards. So everything is fixable. I want more here. Like here, I don't like it. I can go later on and just fix it. Okay? Very easily. Okay, I'm stopping now because all the turquoise here is still wet and just doesn't work. And I don't have my a jar with water, and I need to put all the brushes and everything and the sponge inside some water before it dries on the brush. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Oh yes, someone knows what the prisoner is. Okay, so yeah, that's the notebooks. So now you know how to do all this. You don't need me. You can do it yourself. Yeah, I think this is it for today. I'm just waiting for if you have more questions for me. I'm still here. So go for it. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Sometimes after the live or even the videos that are not live, I forgot this, oh, I forgot that to mention. Well, I'm still here, staying alive. Pun intended. I'm just not going to try and start singing Staying Alive. It will start raining. I'm waiting to see if there are more questions, and while I'm waiting, I'm putting away some of the stuff. That's the noise that you are hearing. Like the bucket of the joint compound just doesn't want to close, so I'm kicking it right now. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like a huge ball or bubble. Bye, Juanita. India and Singapore. I had plans for vacationing and most of them got cancelled. Now I'm only left with at the end of November with our with El Al. All the other companies just canceled their flights. A crafty pajama party. That's good. Yeah, well, I always was a night owl, so there is that. Although in the last year or two, not so much, but yeah, I try to rest the whole day and so I can function at night and be coherent. Crafty pajama party, that was funny. Maybe I need to put pajama and each time start the live with my pajama. There is a musical, I think, with Doris Day that was the Pajama Games or Pajama Party or something like that. Another oldie. Good night. Okay. No questions for me? Then I'll rush downstairs to put everything in water, the stencil, the palette knives, the brushes, before they're gone. Pajama game, yes. Pajama game. Yeah. Okay. So thank you everyone for coming in. It was great. That's it for me. I'm just going to take care of the brushes and everything, and that's it for for tonight. PJs in 6:30 p.m. Good for you, Brenda. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. And I told you all the ways that you can contact me if you want to. And that's that. So thank you all for being here. It's great. And I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.